Hello and welcome. Today we've got David Mahoney, and today we're going to be discussing the Trump shooting, Biden steps down, and what's coming next. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to my Instagram channel at nicholas.veniamin, where you can follow all my daily newsreels. David, thank you so much for joining me, sir. How are you, and what have you been up to?
Nick, I'm great. I feel like I haven't talked to you for ages. And how much has been going on? What an amazing couple of, let's say, 10 days, 2 weeks have been going on. I'm very well. Buzzing, busy. I'm currently in the UK just for a few days. Height of summer in Spain. I'm really enjoying that. I don't know if you remember, Nick, but I went to Asia in February. And I went to Thailand, Cambodia, Malaysia, Singapore, and Vietnam. And I thought, you know what, you travel all this way. And what's the point? I thought I'm going to take advantage of a beautiful country, which I live in Spain, specifically Andalusia. So I've been doing a lot of little mini road trips in southern Spain. I've got a big Toyota Land Cruiser, great big thing that's 20 years old, but I've got snorkel on it. I've got the winch on it. I've got the whole thing kitted out. No matter what happens at me, I'm self-sufficient. So I've been taking advantage of the beauty of southern Spain, my friend, as the summer goes in, but keeping up with the broadcasts. I've only been in the UK 2 days. I'm looking forward to getting home. But what a couple of weeks it's been, mate. I mean, holy cow. All of these predictions that we were talking about have all been coming to fruition. Have you noticed that we've all said, okay, something big is going to happen. Biden's never going to put himself right to the end of the final race in the election. We've been talking about that for 2 years. But yeah. I think let's start off with, it's very interesting because you've been to Mar-a-Lago, you've been in the room with Trump, but I've spotted some things about this entire shooting, which are a little bit controversial. So I'm going to bounce them off you and bounce them off your audience to see how they feel about it, because the shock of the shooting, the attempted assassination, obviously, there's a lot of controversy around it, and I'm sure you've talked to other people about it, but I'll be interested in your take as well at some of these vital points and points of information and facts about the entire case. Well, let's just bounce them around and see where it goes. But what's your take on the whole thing, Nick? Were you shocked when you saw it or heard it?
First of all, I was I wasn't shocked, because we have been talking about this for a long time, and we know the deep state are panicking, so they will do anything to get Trump out. So I wasn't shocked. Now, was I upset and sad? Very, to see Donald Trump talking about how he's going to get rid of tax, for tips and income tax and strong borders and, all of this type of thing. Bringing manufacturing back, increasing jobs, and all of this.
All great things.
And then great things for the people. And then I see his ear, he takes a bullet, he bleeds. And that hurt me. It really did. I felt I wanted to cry. In fact, when I saw those videos of Trump all the time, repeatedly on social media, on Instagram and X and on Truth, Trump being, seeing, with blood, and I didn't want to see it. It actually hurt me. I didn't want to see it. Now, Simpsons predicted that he'll be, they predicted he's going to be in a coffin in 2024. Now, my question is did they dodge the assassination? Was it divine intervention? Was it, as Lewis Holmes says, my other guest, was it the, Project Looking Glass, where they saw so many attempts and they thought, you know what? We can't dodge all of them, but we have to go with this timeline because he gets shot and he bleeds, but he doesn't die. So are we playing with quantum technology here to determine which timeline we need to be shifted on? The other question I have is, there was 2 secret services who were women. However, these women were very short, and Donald Trump is a 6'3" guy. How are they able to shield his body if you're that short? Now, I'm really sorry, and if this hurts anyone, but only men, in my opinion, tall men, big men, should be doing Secret Service, especially when it's a 6'3" person. It's the president of the United States. The Secret Service were told they spotted the shooter on the roof way before Trump came on the scene. So did they fail, or was it an inside Secret Service corrupt member who had an intent for this to happen? You know, so there's a conspiracy there. Is there, is Donald Trump really working with the right people, or does he need to be firing people and employing new people? So these are the questions that I have. But thank God he's okay. Yes, I do feel that this is divine intervention. And we're going to make America great again.
Yeah. I mean, all of those things that I agree with, but my background, I've worked with a lot of military people. I've trained with them. I've been in the trenches with them. I've been in the mud and the blood with a lot of these guys over the years in the previous life that I had before I was doing this. So I saw a lot of massive questions in this whole incident. So I wanted to go through some of these major points today. So we'll start with this shooter himself. Now, there's lots of videos on the internet you can see where there's individuals of the public who were saying for 7 to 8 minutes before the shots were fired, we were alerting the local authorities and Secret Service as a guy on the roof with a rifle, and they chose to do nothing about it. Okay. So that opens up, why did they not do anything about it? There's a question there straight away. Now, the roof that he's on, the Secret Service spokeswoman, she said that we chose not to put snipers on the roof because of the angle. Yet they had another sniper on the roof the other side of it. So there's another question. The roof that was it Brooks or Crooks? What was his last name? Crooks.
I think it was Crooks, Thomas Crooks.
Yeah. The shooter was on a roof, and underneath that roof, you imagine it's just a shed with a flat tin roof on it, made out of metal. There's nothing in between it, just bare metal. Underneath that roof where they were was the headquarters of the police department that were coordinating all of the safety and the crowd safety. So the police were right underneath where this guy's clambering around on top of them. And then to get on this roof, he used a ladder. Now, the ladder wasn't something that you just fold away and keep in the cupboard underneath the stairs for short people in the house so they can get something out of the top. You know, when you're baking a Christmas cake or something, you don't need a turkey baster all year. You keep it in a cupboard in the kitchen. So I'll just get the small little step ladders because I can't reach. This thing was a 15-foot massive ladder to climb up that roof that he was wandering around carrying with his weapon and a ladder, and still nobody alerted anybody about it. So there's all those questions, okay? And then the next question is the Secret Service, because this is my personal. Okay, you can maybe explain, okay, we didn't see him, or we thought he was in maintenance. But bear in mind, the guy wasn't in any form of military or police uniform. He was in civilian clothing. So he didn't look like a cable repairman, or he didn't look like a policeman, or he didn't look like a Secret Service man in his black suit. He just looked like a normal guy. So how the hell did he get into that position, onto the roof with a weapon, in position, ready to take those shots? That's huge. It's like 25 questions right there. Who's responsible for that? The Secret Service, okay, was a shambles. If you look at any other form of presidential leader from any country in the world, there are several things that always happen in these situations. Point number one is the security team swamp him. They get to him. They protect him. Now, I noticed that none of the close personal protection team were turning around with their backs looking for shooters in the crowd. They're all looking at him. And they said it's because, we have sharpshooters outside. Well, obviously the sharpshooters didn't do shit, because how many bullets were fired? They nearly got him. None of these people had any form of ballistic protection, because, Nick, there are several protectional systems in place. The first thing they do is they evacuate him from there. They get him out of there like instantly. They'll pick him up. They'll drag him. They'll pull him. It doesn't care if he's alive or dead. They will get whatever state that body is in out of the line of fire straight away. They'll pick him up, whatever they have to do, and they have to evacuate him to safety. But all of these people didn't do that. Now, even on South American dictators, when they take a shot at him, the first thing that somebody would do is they have these large Kevlar vests. They look like pads. It looks like those pads that football linebackers practice hitting, or rugby players. So you imagine a very large pillow with a strap on it. like what the kickboxers would practice on.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
looks like that. So these are normally deployed straight in front of the VIP, whoever it is, to shield him from any further shots. And are you telling me that this day and age, with all of the technology, that they don't have something that will be light and flexible? Like just for example, I don't know if this exists, but imagine you have a Kevlar umbrella. Now I know Kevlar umbrellas exist. So you open up a Kevlar umbrella, you put it straight over like that. That will block any shot from coming in straight away. So they can't take a second or third attempt at any headshot because his close protectional personal security team will be shielding him with a Kevlar vest or a weapon to stop him from penetrating any further shots. There was none of that deployed. And all of them are facing him. The woman couldn't even reholster her weapon. She was so flustered. She looked chubby. She didn't look like she was in shape at all. So all of his close protectional crew were a shambles, and quite frankly, it's shameful that they were even able to be there on duty because I don't think any of them had any training. By what I saw in those moments, they totally did not play it by the rule book, and they just were in shambles, in a shock.
I mean, if you go back to that iconic photograph, now I think it's a historic, iconic photograph of when Trump had blood on his mouth and he's put his hand up. And you see the Secret Service lady, if you pay close attention, she's got her arm around him and she's like nearly like that. And I'm thinking, you're supposed to be shielding him. I just think, look, everything that you've just said and everything, obviously, we've spoken about until this point, there's a lot of questions here as to, is the Secret Service corrupt?
Yeah.
It has to be corrupt. And I don't feel, I look, we have to ask this. Who is the president? Who is their president? It's Joe Biden, okay? Who actually authorizes for Trump to have secret services? And
Yeah.
who's choosing these secret services for Trump? Because
with that,
I want to say that not Joe Biden, Robert Kennedy Jr. is being refused secret services from Joe Biden since he's president and he has to authorize it.
It's a good point. All ex-presidents, until they die, have designated Secret Service personnel. Now, how many it is differs. Could be 3, could be 5. Even go back to Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, the Bushes, they all have them. Who's ever still alive is still allocated Secret Service personnel to protect them. But Trump is in a different position because he's a wealthy man. He can handpick his own crew. And are you telling me that a man of Trump's intelligence handpicked these bunch of clowns that just totally panicked and, oh my God. When they put him on the floor, they held him there way too long. That would have been the moment where they were literally dragging him out. They'd throw themselves on him, they get him behind the screen and in the car, and he's away. They would clear the area. So I don't know how many of those are allocated by the government and how many of those are his own personal selected team. But here's where it gets even weird, Nick, because I'm going to throw total curveballs in here, and I've been getting flack for this for the last few days, but it's my job to report what I see. And I would repeat this before anybody starts cursing me. I'm a Trump fan, but I cannot help to talk about the things that I saw in this, which I think that it's a weird story because it's an attempt by the deep state to kill Trump. But here's where it gets weirder, okay? Now, if that bullet, the photograph of the bullet going past him was released way too quickly. We've already established that his security team are terrible. We've already established that how the hell did that guy get on the roof and how the hell did nobody see him and how the hell was he allowed to take those shots? And the other sharpshooter that was on Trump's security team, how the hell is he going like this when he's on point through the scope and he's going like that and he has a look and he goes, oh my God, is that guy shooting? I better shoot too. There's no way a trained sniper, Nick, will ever take his eye off that. It doesn't matter what goes on there. He's there. There's nothing you can do to take him off his sniping shot. That's it. They're trained like that. I know it. I've worked with these guys. So there's all of that. But here's where it gets weirder, in my opinion, because the shot of the bullet going through the air was released way too quickly. Because several of the news agency report that he fell over. Sky News, with the hugest amount of shame on these bunch of clowns, reported that it was Trump fell on the podium and hit his ear, okay? But there you go. There's the bullet shot going whizzing past his head, okay? and they have it there. Where did that bullet go? Where did it impact? Who did it impact? Because of that angle, it must have hit somebody. We know that there's one person dead, which seems to be an authentic report of one person actually losing their life there, an innocent man with 3 family members, a wife, good guy, known by the local fire department. So a lot of people testified, yes, he's dead. Okay, but here's where it gets weird, in my opinion. There's 2 points here. Later that day, Trump was at a rally in New Jersey with a bandage on his ear. So think about the trauma involved in this and the mental trauma. And there's a medical issue here as well, okay? When you get into that situation, somebody tries to kill you. It's like any man out there will know. When you get into an aggressive situation, a bar fight, or somebody coming at you, somebody tries to kill you, your body is immediately pumped. Your entire system is, all of the adrenaline that you keep in there is just dumped into your system. You get super strong. You get a sudden surge of energy. Your heightened senses are there. You can see and hear everything. You're on high alert because you know your life is at stake. It's human protection system that we all have in place, all right? So I've witnessed this, and I've been through these situations where my body's been full of adrenaline, and at the end of the adrenaline, when you go and you start to calm down and your body is saying, your brain is saying, okay, you're out of danger now, you can relax. It feels like you've been hit with a truck, Nick. Every single muscle in your body is aching. Your neck muscles, especially because you get very aggressive. Your arm muscles, because everything's tensed. Your back, your legs. It's very difficult to even get up off a chair when you've had that much adrenaline, when you've had a shock to your system that you're going to die and all the adrenaline's in there. But what did Trump do? He flew to New Jersey and he did another rally in New Jersey that day with a bandage on his ear and a totally different safety crew. I didn't recognize anybody on there. So you tell me this, you're going to go through an assassination attempt where you're bleeding from your ear. You're shocked. Your family is shocked. You've got your wife and your children. They're not going to come in and say, baby, I miss you. I love you. Oh my God, are you okay? You know, the man would be an emotional wreck, but he flew to New Jersey. So because I saw another Trump in New Jersey and he was there, I don't think that was the real Trump that was in that shooting incident. It cannot be the same guy, because here's the other thing. If his ear was clipped by a bullet at that velocity coming from an AR-15, it wouldn't just be that. Oh my God, I've been hit by it. It wasn't a 22. It wasn't a pellet gun. A bullet going past your ear so close would displace the air pressure right next to your ear. Your body would do this. It would go, ah. You would have 2 hands up there. Your entire body would shovel up like that because you'd be struck with that much pain, because it's like someone slapping you across the ear and forcing the air pressure in there. But he didn't. He just went like this, like that.
But you know that when a bullet is so small and so fast that it pierces your ear, and there's no bone in here. It's just cartilage, I think.
It's not about the flesh wound. It's about the air pressure. Because it's hurtling through the air like that, it would be definitely that, and I think it would affect your inner ear, and I think it would affect. And if I did more research on this, I've done light research on this. I think any ballistic expert or any medical expert would say if you have a bullet passing that close to your ear, it's going to affect your inner ear and your balance. So I don't think that was the real Trump in that incident. But it also leads me to believe: did he know it was coming? Was somehow all of that let to happen, but at the last minute, whatever. Imagine they switched the ammunition to not real bullets. Imagine that he had a blood squib. So he knew about the assassination attempt. Somehow they let it happen because he says, I've got to show people how bad the deep state are. I'm going to have to show them that this was an assassination attempt. But he eliminated the threat of it actually being lethal. Hear me out on this, audience, if you're listening, cursing me. He does that to break the blood squib, and then he goes down. The only point about that is an innocent man got killed. It doesn't matter about the patsy on the roof. The patsy on the roof was always going to die no matter what happens. It's always the same. Lee Harvey Oswald, John Wilkes Booth, they all die. They all die because they need to have their mouths shut. So is it possible that they knew about this attempt was going to happen? They let it happen. They eliminated the threat, made it look like it was real by the blood squib and going down. And then that famous photograph of when Trump stood up immediately. What was the first thing? You might not know this, Nick, but you're a little bit younger than most of us. The first thing I saw when I saw that photograph, I said, that is a carbon copy of Iwo Jima, which is World War II's most iconic photograph of where they were claiming an island in Japan, and it signified the end of World War II, and is one of the most iconic photographs in history. And it was actually recreated. That was not taken at that exact
Well,
moment.
we need to see. I mean, I saw it live, but we need to see it. We need to see that old photograph you're seeing. I'm interested.
The
I mean,
Iwo photograph. I'll find it now while we're talking.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would go as far as I mean, I do understand they might have doubles, but to get the voice right, I mean, he looks exactly the same, especially when his hat was taken off. I don't know. It's really going into that conspiracy stuff for me, but I do understand that they may be doubles, yes. And I do understand. I do also believe that it was divine, intervention. Maybe that's why he wasn't affected as much, because of divine intervention. So I do believe that, because if we say now, it was staged, or it was pretend, or it was real and it was a double, or something like that, then we're going into the realms of, well,
I agree.
Really divine intervention? Are we mocking Jesus here, or God? Or Jesus,
I mean, the chances are, look, I'm, again, for the audience's sake, my job is to report what I see and what I feel. I'm a Trump fan. I like the guy. But there's 2 points there. There was just too many mess ups, screw ups because of security to have it. And Trump's a very intelligent man. He's not. If this happened to Joe Biden, okay, we understand he's an idiot. But Trump isn't. And here's another thing. This was the only rally that was broadcast live during the entire time that Trump's been doing it by CNN. So are you telling me by accident CNN chose to broadcast only this one, which was the most action-packed, thrilling rally you've ever seen? Share the screen, Nick, with me. If you give me permission, I'll bring up the
sure.
Why was CNN broadcasting that? And what made me suspicious, Nick, was that Trump turned up somewhere else later on in the day. Come on, man. You're not going to say, oh, baby, I just survived an assassination attempt. I'm going to go to New Jersey. See the picture?
Right. But I need to see the other angle, but I can see it, yeah.
So you got the American flag and all of the hands up, and Trump's like this. This is the famous picture. And no, I'm not the only person that said this. Many, many people, it jogged their memory straight away about this picture.
Have you got a different angle of that picture?
No, this is the only one. This is from Life magazine. But you know the one I'm talking about?
Listen, yes, I do. I absolutely do know what you're talking about. But it could be the fact that it just happened that way for history to repeat itself by the universe or something. I don't know. Or to create a historical landmark for the American people. I don't know.
All of this is possible. But what we know from our experience on this journey, Nick, is that nothing that the optics show are real. We know that. Look at 9/11. We were all fed 9/11. I was lucky enough to never have believed that even on the day. And when they showed us pictures of airplanes smashing into the buildings, we now know that those airplanes never even went near those buildings, because they were all superimposed CGI television special effects, because there was no fuselage, engines, luggage, wires, cables. Nothing was ever found of the airplanes there. And they removed the debris very, very quickly to cover it up. We know that there was no airplane that hit the Pentagon. It was a missile, because there was no fuselage again. Even on Flight 93, Nick, which crashed just outside Pennsylvania, there was a local film crew on there, and they showed no fuselage, wings, engines, luggage, seats, or any debris from an airplane. So it's very easy to sell the story by using optics. And I think several of the optics there were A, the bullet that was going through the air, and B, that was a very iconic to rally the people to get to Trump. Now, I don't know what the real truth is. All I can tell you is what I saw, and the whole thing at the start of it, before the bullets happened, all of that security, lack of, was an embarrassing shambles that you couldn't pay somebody to screw up more. So somebody somewhere knew exactly what they were doing. So my instinctive feeling is that Trump's security team is seriously a danger. They have several rats in the camp that must have been paid off to allow such massive breaches of security. And I don't believe Trump is that naive, and all of the rallies that he's done, to not have security issues in places. I mean, why is he not talking behind a bulletproof screen like they all
Well,
do?
I think you're right. He should be talking behind bulletproof screens, and I think it's for optics. The other thing is the reason why I think. I mean, wouldn't it be normal for President Biden? And I don't like calling him President Biden, so I do. Excuse me, Joe Biden, crooked Joe Biden. He should be as president. He should be calling out that Secret Service lady. But you know why I think he's not, to cover himself? I think because she was the one that covered him for the cocaine that was found in the White House that was Joe Biden's. Because if he called her out, then she would call him out.
But Biden's not in a capable position of calling anybody. He couldn't call Domino's Pizza. Look, we know that he's been handled by several people. And when you see his speeches, you know, his wife was just wandering around like a doddering old guy with Alzheimer's or dementia. He has it. There's no debate about does he or does he not have dementia. Of course he does.
I mean, I keep saying, I mean, it's still not the same Biden as we know the
I
Biden
agree.
before. I mean, the ears are so different. And when people say to me, oh, this was a Trump double, I see no difference with this with the original Trump. I see everything is exactly the same.
Come on, man. Think about it, Nick. Just think about the trauma you go through. An assassination attempt. Would you go to New Jersey? If you had to go and do something really important in DC or something, your family would be flying in to be beside you. I don't care if he is.
I think
that just doesn't make sense.
I think because Trump has an ego. Let's be honest. Okay, he's got very good intentions. He loves his country. He's very proud. I think even if he does have trauma, he would still go to the lengths of going to New Jersey for a rally because he wants to create history, because he wants to stand out. He wants to be recognized for that change. And I think that's fine. I think that's good.
Yeah, and it's absolutely possible, but I just find it a little bit implausible. And you know, he is like that. His ego is like that. He's a warrior. But it's because of the medical issues. Well, with the bullet flying so far.
You could be right. You could be right. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm just giving you my opinion.
He gets shot in the ear. You're not going to do that. He wouldn't.
Well, I'll tell you something. When you get shot, I think he got shot here. And when you get shot there, the pain comes in after. It doesn't come in straight away.
Re-look at the footage. It's a good 3 seconds until he's down on the floor, and then all the other mayhem ensued. So all I'm saying is that you can see what happened before. You can see what happened after. I was a little shocked to see him turn up in New Jersey. I was going, hold on a second. Yeah, well, that's great. He's really powerful to build it. Then you have that iconic picture, which looks just like, I mean, is he really capable of using the same dirty trick tactics to get himself more popular? Because the popularity of the guy now is, you know, that shot. Here's how it works, Nick. That shot would never have killed Trump, but it killed Joe Biden because that's it. When that shot was fired and people saw it live on CNN, are the White Hats controlling CNN, saying we're going to show the entire world how bad these motherfuckers are.
But it also killed an innocent person in the crowd.
This point. I don't have answers about this point. I can say this, that the deep state have not got a single ounce of conscience. They would absolutely kill. They killed, how many did they kill on 9/11? Was it 5,000 or 8,000 people died in downtown New York that day? I think it was minimum 5,000.
I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot of people.
Deep state have no conscience. They would kill as many people as they need to get the mission done, to sell those tickets, to make it look authentic. I don't think Trump's like that.
So, no, I don't think so. I actually think that, yes, some of it is, an operation, 5D chess. Some of it may be staged for optics. But then I think there's another section, there's another part where it's real. It's a real live war. And there are, like I said, there are things that are happening that are being dodged and things like that. That's what I think is happening. There's a bit of mix in there. There's a mix, in my opinion.
I agree. And I'm going to say this for the third time. I don't want people to start hating on me, thinking I'm now turned against Trump. I haven't. All I'm telling you is what I saw and what I've known to
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
past.
You're
Because of all the optics of all the other stuff that they try to sell us down through the time, like, swine flu, COVID, 9/11, capturing Osama bin Laden after the world's most wanted man for 14 years, keeping his body for 10 seconds and then chucking it off the ship before you got any independent people to come and examine it. We know how the governments play these balls. They play it and they show us optics for us to spoon feed the bullshit that they want us to understand. And you need to keep your eyes open against all other possibilities.
I believe that God intervenes in everybody, okay? Because we're all part of God. God uses us, to do great acts for different times. He uses all of us. And I think everybody can think of a time where they had an experience where they were like, my God, I could have died there, or I could have had this accident. Now, one story that I have is I had a very big accident when I was 21. I was driving a fast car. It was convertible. It was a soft top. The soft top was on, and the car flipped on the side, and it rolled on its roof 3 times, and it knocked a tree down. When I had got out of the car, there was not one bruise or scratch on me. And the police turned up, and they could. And I'll be honest, if I was a famous person, and I got out there at the time, people would say, "Oh, that was fake," or that wasn't real. There was nothing. I'm just saying. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that maybe it was one of those.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm only,
Yeah.
like you say, this is what debating is about and discussions are about, and throwing out different possibilities. So now what's left is this void, okay, because the bullet didn't kill Trump, it killed Biden that day. That's it. They know that guy's on a downward steep. That's it. There's no fuel left in the airplane. It's crashing. He keeps making massive mistakes. He can't get on stage. It was an incredibly embarrassing debate last time, and Trump didn't even let out the big dogs. He was very kind to him. I thought Trump, you've been very restrained considering what you've got and what you've been put through. So now, again, not something I've seen a few people out there that saying, well, I said this years ago. And, yeah, we've all said this years ago. Biden will never be able to deliver this new presidency or to renew his presidency because people generally just don't like him and have no trust in him. And no matter what the bullshit media is telling you or what paid off movie stars and actors and sports stars are telling you, Biden's incapable of being a president. It's the worst presidency America's ever faced. So now what he's done is he's nominated Harris. And this just goes from one bad smelling old sandwich to another one because Harris hasn't got the capabilities. She's a giggling, laughing. I think intelligence is very low. If you see some of the interviews, she's been quoting intelligent people, but saying it all over and over and over again. She's just reading the same script. So the big question now is, Nick, what's going to happen next? Which is where we got into. So there's so many possibilities. Are they going to run with Harris? Are they going to say, okay, yeah, she's going to be the first female president? Nobody's going to believe it. She's unliked. Nobody has faith in her. Who's the one person that really commands respect and can hold a room when that person talks from the other side? There's only one real true person that they can bring out, in my opinion. And I think it's Hillary. I think they're going to bring back Hillary because she's got a bee in a bonnet about last time. She's got a track record of being a stable political person with what she was doing with the past presidency. She's never been a president. And she's, in my opinion, the only nomination that they could actually put in place that people say, okay, yeah, the Iron Lady, another Margaret Thatcher, Hillary Clinton. But again, we know what the real situation with the Hillary Clinton. I don't even think the real one's still around anymore.
Yeah, so, I mean, if it happens, Trump's going to be beating them for the 4th time.
Yeah. Again, optics, they're going to be showing us things that they want us to believe. They're going to be broadcasting, oh, this is going to happen. But I don't think we've seen the last of these atrocities, Nick. I think they have to try something else. The good thing about this assassination attempt on Trump is I would be very surprised if he gives them a second chance to do this. I think if he doesn't up his security team and put all these implementations of a new protocol in place, it shows that he is already in control. He has no fear, or he's not stupid. We know that. So I think the deep state know if it was an authentic attempt at his life, that really was what a lot of people feel it was, he's not going to give him that chance again. So they've tried to discredit him. They've tried to put him in jail. They've charged him with false things. He's been subpoenaed. They charged him with how many, 37 felonies or something? He's beat them all. And now he's beaten an assassination attempt. Imagine how frustrated these people feel because they know. And Trump is now going to take the gloves off. He will not give them any quarter, show no quarter. This means show no mercy. Once he gets back into power, he is going to now finally open all these indictments and put all these people on military tribunals, I feel, because he has no reason to show them any professional courtesy or any humanity because he's seen what they are capable of and how bad they are. So I don't think we've seen the last of any of these craziness of what's going to come as we get closer to the election. It's just going to get more and more crazy stories coming out. And it's going to be even more embarrassing trying to sell the public and for us to believe it. And sorry, before we go on to the last point, do you want to put anything else on there, buddy?
No, I mean, I just think that it's amazing how people are coming out now, like Kid Rock, Hulk Hogan, Amber Rose. There are people who have now had enough and they're speaking out. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this leading up to the elections, to the 2024 elections, November the 5th. I think we're going to see a lot of people coming out because now, these people like Hulk Hogan are probably inspiring others now who are thinking, maybe it's time that I come out too, and I really do hope so. This is great.
There's one other issue. Well, one other thing that happened that I forgot to mention it. We're going to sprinkle in there and I think it's all tied in. It's this software update that sent half the planet into absolute total chaos on a mild software update. Now, go back a few months back, it's probably about 18 months ago, when the slug in a suit, Mr. Schwab, when Klaus Schwab says the cyber attack that they will launch will make COVID seem like a children's story. So this software glitch that they had the other day, this was a test. This was a test to see which businesses were affected, how it affected it, because I think they're going to do that as we get closer to the elections. Oh, we've had a cyber hack from Russia or China, and all of the voting machines, we cannot verify if they're, being used correctly. And no, the data's all wrong. And Trump, there wasn't that many people that voted for him. And yeah, the whole thing's they're going to be using it, Nick. This is just a warm up.
What can I say? So I heard, okay, I don't know, maybe some of you have heard of this, okay. But before Trump became president ever, the military had been planning out to take down the deep state for the last 15 to 20 years. And their original plan was to go out and make mass arrests. But this was going to cause a lot of civil unrest. It would cause a lot of psychological, mental damage to the people when they find out what's going on. So they thought we need Trump, who's clean, who we need to ask him, who obviously he agreed to be the front guy to make people feel that there's a president, so everything's being run as normal, to take down these people. So maybe if that happened, what you're saying about the elections, that, there's going to be a glitch, who knows if they might use this, operation at that time where, we've had enough, we're making mass arrests now. Because they don't want to make the government look like a dictatorship. People have to see themselves and wake up to the corruption of what's going on instead. So that, did you see what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just saying this wasn't what they're telling you. Again, I never believed the optics. This wasn't an accident, this entire software glitch. I think it was a test to see
Yeah.
how people reacted. And I think they're going to use it again, saying, oh, well, remember before it happened, you couldn't pay for your fuel, you couldn't get a flight, all the airplanes were grounded. So for the sake of the audience, be vigilant, be aware. They will be doing tricks to try to stay you on a different course.
Sorry about that. We had very bad signal earlier. David has just come back. We've had to do some edits here. Good, David. Sorry about that. How you doing?
My fault, buddy. Sorry, my laptop died, and for some reason it's not charging. So I wanted to just put this on the end because, for the sake of the audience, we don't know what's going to come. We can only assume what's going to come. We know that the deep state are really panicking, but we also know that they're using very bad, nasty tricks on people to get you to believe what they want you to see. So for the sake of your audience, Nick, I would advise them to be vigilant, be on the guard, because, if they don't get to the polls and do it properly, then the deep state will like nothing better to put one of their fake presidents back in there again. And we need Trump back in there to restore the greatness of America, to restore the borders, to restore the manufacturing, to restore the jobs, and to restore the name of the USA worldwide. Because let's face it, over the last 4 years, the policies that the Biden administration have been implementing have just been an absolute joke and an embarrassment for a superpower like the USA. So please don't be put off by all of these attempted tricks that they're going to throw at you. Stay fast and stay hard and steer a steady course, folks, to get your independence back from the deep state, to regain the greatness that America once stood for.
Absolutely. Well, we hope that maybe there's a glitch in their glitch and that it doesn't work. Again, another divine intervention. Let's just trust God on this. I'm sure whatever happens, Trump, God wins, and vote for Trump. And David, thank you so much. And we'll speak again very soon. You take care and God bless you.
Thank you, Nick. Great show. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.